Hey guys, in this video I'm going to read aloud this article from the right. If you'd like to follow along as I read, go ahead and open up that current event report, scroll down to research. Under the article from the right, go ahead and click on that very first link, and that's the one we're going to be reading out loud. As we read, we're going to be taking 3 or more bullet points worth of notes, and those notes should really focus on the positives of those vaccine passports, the negatives of those vaccine passports, and any bias that you might see. Remember, those vaccine passports would be used in large venues like the Dodger Stadium if they were allowing special seating for people who are fully vaccinated. So that's how that relates to our current event. All right, so let's go ahead and start reading out loud, looking for positive, negatives, and bias. GOP lawmakers slam vaccine passports being considered by Biden admin. So even in this title, we can see a little bit of bias, some of that spin bias with the use of the word slam. If they just would have said GOP lawmakers oppose vaccine passports, I am visualizing something completely different. But when they say GOP lawmakers slam the vaccine passports, it makes it seem like they're really, really mad about it. So we can go ahead and add that to our notes. Slam, the use of that word could be considered spin bias, making it seem like Republican lawmakers are more upset about the vaccine passports than they actually be in real life, right? So the use of the word slam maybe could mean that lawmakers or the journalist is making Republican lawmakers seem more upset about these vaccine passports than they actually are. So let's go ahead and keep reading. Top-ranking Republicans are trying to stamp out digital vaccine passports that would allow businesses to check if customers are inoculated against COVID-19. The White House is working on a private sector-driven initiative to help businesses identify people that have been vaccinated as venues reopen and travel begins to pick up. New York has already developed its own version, dubbed the Excelsior Pass. The digital app doesn't display the user's health information and will be required for vaccinated customers to gain entry to large venues like Madison Square Garden. The passports have been criticized as invasive and hypocritical by some Republicans, including the party's second highest ranking member of Congress. So that definitely seems like a negative, right? Some Republicans see it as invasive and hypocritical, so we can go ahead and write that down in our notes. Okay. So leaving off right here, considering that Democrats want to require vaccine IDs for people to conduct their basic daily activities, they now have zero grounds to object to voter ID laws, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise told Fox News. If under Democrat logic, you should need an ID to enter even a grocery store, surely there wouldn't be an objection to showing an ID to legally vote. All right, so right there we can definitely see some bias, right? Where they're talking about Democrat logic, kind of doing some mind reading without actually like interviewing a Democrat to see if that's correct or not. House Judiciary Committee ranking member Jim Jordan called out Biden's administration pursuing the passports for Americans who want to engage in day-to-day activities, while it doesn't seem to care about passports when it comes to illegal migrants crossing the southern border. So again, we see a little bit more bias, a little bit of mind reading there. So we can go ahead and put down mind reading bias. Really just focus on Republicans versus Democrats. Vaccine credentials would be a complete government overstep. Individuals in America have a personal responsibility for their health, Representative Pete Sessions told Fox News. The White House has said the government is not taking a large role in the project and is looking to fill a demand from private businesses. The government is not viewing its role as the place to create a passport nor a place to hold the data of citizens, White House COVID-19 response team advisor Andy Slavitt, sorry, Andy, said Monday. Our role is to help ensure that any solutions in this area should be simple, free, open source, accessible to people both digitally and on paper, and designed from the start to protect people's privacy, White House coordinator Jeff Zients told reporters earlier this month. The Excelsior Pass, which launched on Friday, can now be used by New Yorkers to gain access to wedding receptions and other events in excess of social gathering limits. It looks like that is the end. Nice short little one. So at the very, very end, they kind of talk about this one, and it's hard to tell if this is a positive or negative. They kind of leave this part open to the reader. So we can go ahead and add that as our last bullet point, especially since it relates more to our current event than some of the other information. Excelsior Pass launched Friday in New York, allows access to wedding receptions and other events with large crowds. All right, if you guys have any questions or need any help, make sure that you ask. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.